segment, Faith, Hope, and Love, and we're out here in Cleveland. We're here with Rabbi Robert Nosanchuk. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
My pleasure to be here.
So one of the reasons that we decided to talk with you is, and other religious leaders, is that what we're trying to do on this segment is we're trying to show unity among all the churches, which I think is so important, and we were talking about that earlier. And so what we want to do on this segment is to show different leaders coming together and talking about different things and all united under one God. So today we're talking about immigration, and we're talking about it because I have gone to a couple different rallies for immigration, and we always saw one or two rabbis there. And they were always fervently speaking on behalf of those immigrants. And can you talk to us a little bit about that?
I'm especially aware today, given how much rhetoric there is that is terribly divisive and that speaks with such harsh tones about immigrants, that this is precisely the methods that were used to discourage America from being as welcoming as it was in the period when my grandparents moved to this country. Just a week and a half ago, we lost my grandmother at the age of 101 years old.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
Well, thank you. You can hardly ask for more from a 101-year-old.
Absolutely.
But my grandmother, she escaped the Holocaust. And her arrival at this country was at the age of 16. She lost nearly everyone to the Holocaust. All but one of her siblings, her parents, were all murdered by the Nazis. The possibility and the opportunity for her to build a life here is something that I don't take for granted. And I think that that's why you're seeing so many people in the Jewish community react so sharply to this dark pall that has been cast over the idea that immigrants are here to steal from us, to take from us, to murder us or rape us. This is ugly and cruel rhetoric, and it's meant to punish folks for simply trying to build a better life in this nation.
What did you think when you saw the recent raids here in Ohio, and just how the United States has recently treated our immigrants?
It's important that people recognize that these roundups of immigrants by ICE are blanket roundups. They're enforcing a policy that is deeply cruel and that ultimately doesn't reflect the highest ideals of our nation. We are a nation of immigrants, after all. How can we treat people fairly while also understanding that there are reasonable concerns about safety and well-being of our nation? The security at our borders is a valuable issue for all of us to discuss and come to some agreement on. There has to be a better way to do it, though, than to round up immigrants whole scale and deport them without a fair and due process to find the opportunity for them to live safely, rather than be deported back to countries where they might face horrible circumstances.
What do you say to the opposing view that says, well, why don't they just obey the law? Why don't the immigrants just obey the law?
Question of legality or illegality is immaterial if your child is likely to be raped or murdered in the country of origin, or if they never even have any memory of that country. Think about the dreamer population that were promised, if they came out of the dark in the previous U.S. administration, that they would be safe and they would be treated fairly, that are now in harm's way by virtue of our nation tilting with such hostility and fear towards immigrants. I am aware of many local churches, including the Forest Hill Presbyterian Church and the Pilgrim Methodist Church, that have begun to take steps to declare themselves sanctuary church organizations and to volunteer to bring support to particular members of the community who are seeking refuge within their church building. I'm aware of other nascent efforts by local interfaith organizations to get much needed humanitarian supplies and support to people who, like you mentioned, have been rounded up and don't have adequate supplies of of basic human provisions, ranging from diapers to tampons to other kinds of material support. And it moves me greatly to see people across faith lines react with understanding and deep concern and take exception to the kind of fear-mongering that is so common among politicians today.
What do you think about the sanctuary?
I think it's something for every church or every community to really personally reflect on and address. What's the best way that we can actualize the teachings of our faith, whatever faith that might be?
So how do we fix it?
Well, I think it starts by people recognizing that their voice matters, that as loud and as valuable as the discussion is in the national media about the divisions of our time, that individual opportunities that we take to raise our voice and speak confidently, holding our leaders accountable to the principles upon which they were elected, to their oaths of office, and to what we count on from them naturally. I think that makes a huge difference when people actually recognize that their voice makes a difference.